Brother Malcolm said, education is the passport to the future.
It's the real talk. It's the real talk. Yo, it's that real talk, an in-depth conversation, breaking down how the past affects our situations. P. Brown, something critical for your conscience, not that daily nonsense, not swayed by the sponsors. Yeah, I'm black, but my perspective not biased. One God, one race, with a message that's timeless. Online with the message for the mass. It's time to unify or stay divided and distracted.
Brother Malcolm said, education is the passport to the future. What's good, my brothers and sisters? I'm Percy Brown Jr., coming at you all the way live in about 5 minutes, that is, so let's get down to the biz. And I'm coming back with another piece of the Ice Cube video on ABC, and this time he's responding to the question on the influence of hip-hop music on white teenagers. But when we get done watching that segment, I'm going to go a little bit deeper and talk about how hip-hop actually influences not only white teenagers, but teenagers and the population in American society in general. So let's get to part 2 of the Ice Cube interview on ABC.
What do you think the appeal of the music is to the 70% of the market that is white that buys it?
The appeal is the reality of it. Everybody likes the truth. The truth is good for your brain. And in a society that feeds you so many lies, which doesn't help you grow as an individual at all, this is uncut, raw truth, you know. Why do people watch Cops? You know, because they can see the truth. They don't want to see reenactments no more, when this is showing you the real deal. And that's what the rappers are providing for the people, the real deal. You know, and matter of fact, some of the white kids are sick of their fathers telling them about the community. They want to hear what's the problems themselves, because they're problems. You know, it's not like, you know, like we're putting a bad front in for the community. The community is going to all hell because poverty and frustration does not mix. And when you have that time bomb, it blows up like it did in April of 1992. So, you know, the kids are starting to say, look, Pops, all that stuff you were saying, put that aside. We're becoming their heroes. And that's really why the media is in a frenzy. Because the white kids are taking Bon Jovi and all these clowns off their wall, putting up Ice Cube, Public Enemy, and then they're starting to listen to what we have to say. Because it's not all on the gangster tip. A lot of it is really political. And that's where the problem stems.
There it is. Ice Cube breaking down the influence of hip-hop. And here's a piece that I really want you all to pay attention to. Hip-hop being political, right? And Ice Cube talked about that's where the problem lied. And we had a lot of hip-hop artists back in the 90s that were very political. When you think about Public Enemy, Boogie Down Productions with KRS-One, X-Clan, and that's not even exhaustive. But Ice Cube was talking about rap being political, but the political rap was the reality rap. And that's different from the hip-hop that we're seeing today, right? Because we do know that recording label CEOs are promoting some of the content that we're seeing in hip-hop today. So when you think about hip-hop today, to a degree, it glorifies and sells a lifestyle rather than tell a story about it and its impact, right? So reality rap back in the early 90s impacted white kids and black kids because it was coming from a place of truth. And like Cube said, the truth is good for your brain and it helps you grow. But I want to connect that statement to something that Dr. Carter G. Woodson brought out in the 1930s in his book, The Miseducation of the Negro. He said, if you control a man's thinking, you will control their actions. Now think about that. When you control a man's thinking, you control their actions. And Cube also talked about how society is putting out so many lies, right? And let's think about today's messaging when we hear in the media alternative facts. What does alternative facts really mean? And if our kids are not getting truth, right, that's the one thing that helps the brain develop and help people grow. Not only kids, but even adults, right? Denzel Washington even broke it down as far as the information that's being put out there in the media. He said if you watch the news, you're misinformed. But if you don't read the news, that means you're uninformed. So we've got some things to deal with when it comes down to truth in the media and what our kids and society needs in order for us to do things a lot differently. But Cube also talked about the community going to all hell, right? And he talked about poverty and frustration, and what he was referencing in April of 1992 was the Rodney King incident. And let's think about the community today. It's still going to all hell like Cube was talking about in 1993. When you look at educational outcomes, when you look at incarceration, when you look at unemployment, family structure, and police killings, not police beatings in terms of what he was referencing in 1992, but police killings. And our current president wants to deal with this issue using law and order tactics and not educational and economic investment. But I'm here to tell you this, and this is why I'm using old school hip hop, because I'm putting the plea out there to the community, and I'm putting the plea out there to the artists, because I do believe that hip hop can be a vehicle for change, because millions of people listen to hip hop globally. Hip hop has surpassed any musical genre historically based on influence, but it must become political again to stop the community from this ongoing spiral to hell. So, moving forward, I have a question. How do we illuminate the Kendrick Lamars, the J. Coles, the Keon Andres, and other conscious artists to help transform our community? I believe that they have the best chance at capturing the minds of our youth, and that is where we must invest if we want to change the conditions of our community. So that was Ice Cube in 1993 talking about the influence of hip hop, but really talking about how it was once political and how that political piece of hip hop was really influencing the genre, because I remember it. I used to wear Malcolm X hats. I used to have the African medallions. So I was being fed that to my brain, and I was growing, and it's still resonating with me today, my brothers and sisters, and that's the message that I'm bringing to you. I'm going to stay with Ice Cube next week. He'll be talking about the influence of the white hand on hip-hop music. So that's all I got, my brothers and sisters. I hope you enjoyed the show, and until next time, peace out and Godspeed to the change we want to see. Peace.
Real Talk is a subsidiary of Critical Consciousness LLC, a company that helps school systems and companies innovate with a focus on diversity and inclusion. Real Talk is brought to you in part by Madison 365, executive producer of Real Talk, Terrence Jackson, CEO of Up Next Marketing Incorporated. Intro song performed by Keon Andre of Cadence Music Group and produced by Greg Dobie of Unideck Media Group. Follow Percy Brown at www.percybrown.org or on Facebook and Twitter at Percy Brown Jr.